Hi, my name is Ryan Hale. I'm a recovering heroin addict. I struggled with addiction for about 10 years, and I just celebrated a year clean.
I'm Ryan's brother Rick, and a lot of people ask me, how did you recognize when Ryan was using? How did you help him get out of it? And so we came up with a top 10 ways to recognize that someone you love is struggling with addiction. First sign, number one, where you can recognize that someone you love is using drugs is dishonesty.
This is the first thing that usually happens when I would get into my addiction is my word was garbage. I was lying about where I was, what I was doing.
Generally speaking, I mean, some people are just dishonest. And so, but if someone you know and like normally would trust is lying about where they are, what they were doing, who they were with, then it can be a definite indicator that, you know, that they might be struggling with drugs.
There might be something they're hiding. Number two, theft. This is something that it becomes very second nature, if you will, to an addict, because usually we've lost our job, or we didn't have a job to begin with, and we need to supply a drug habit that can be $60 to $100 someday. And so whether it's stealing from stores or family members, it's anyone and everyone. It doesn't matter who you are or what you've done for me.
That was one thing I noticed when you first started using. You had like your own flat screen TV, nice clothes, like that. You had that love sack, like you had like some decent stuff. And I was like, hey, what happened to your TV? He's like, I sold it.
Sell it right away.
I was like, why'd you sell that? And you're like, oh, I sold it for like $150. I was like, I would have bought that. I didn't realize what the money was going toward, but yeah. And then once you run out of stuff to sell, got to get more stuff somehow.
Got to sell more stuff, but it's probably going to be yours.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate thing. Like the people that are close to you, like family members and stuff, or my parents, for instance, they got the brunt of it.
That's what's crazy is it hurts the people that are close to you because they're an easy target. You know where they hide their stuff. You know where their valuables are.
People that love you most and trust you,
But if you know someone's had a history of it and they're taking stuff or stuff goes missing, I mean, I hate to say it, but like if something went missing, generally speaking, it automatically was like, Ryan, like, where's Dad's bike?
Oh man.
We can laugh about it now.
I pawned that thing like 2 or 3 times, I think.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad had to go buy it back.
Number 3, track marks.
Track marks are marks that you get when you become an IV. This is only for IV drug users. But track marks are basically the marks that you leave behind from the needles going into your arm, into your veins. You got to find the veins, and so you put the needle in, and after you've been using for a while, your veins will collapse after you've been using for years and stuff, IV-wise. And so your veins collapse, and you have to poke yourself that many more times to find the veins, and so it leaves that many more marks behind. And so you're wearing the long sleeve shirts when it's 110 degrees outside, because I would have marks going up and down. My arms don't really have them anymore, but yeah, I can just remember being so self-conscious of the track marks all over my arms.
Number 4, this is kind of an obvious one for some of it, but paraphernalia. Paraphernalia, I think some of the obvious things where you'd see it and recognize are like needles, and then like
a meth pipe.
A meth pipe, okay. But some things that I didn't realize, I didn't know like how this works, especially when you're doing like an IV thing, but they're like a spoon, a kitchen spoon.
Yep, or Q-tips for cotton.
Okay.
You gotta have the cotton.
So the cotton basically acts as a filter.
Correct.
To keep crap out of like whatever.
Yep, to filter the going into the syringe, the substance going into the syringe.
So only
the filter.
The drug crap gets in and the other crap stays
out. That's just to help it from getting clogged, really.
Okay.
That's the only reason you use that. But yeah, I mean, a straw that's burnt in half, tin foil, burnt pieces of tin foil with like black lines, like trails going on them. Number 5 is weight loss. I would go into treatment, I would work out, and I would gain weight. I'd get up to 180, 190, even 200 pounds one time. And within a matter of a month and a half, I was down to 160 pounds. I would lose 40 pounds, 30 pounds, just like that, like in the blink of an eye, because eating just goes to the wayside. Like, you're not hungry.
Yeah. You're chasing a high before you care about your hunger.
Yeah.
You want to get high.
Absolutely.
That's all you think about.
Yep.
And so you couldn't care less about your next meal.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 is spending a prolonged time in the bathroom. And along with that, they're kind of correlated, but constipation.
Mm-hmm.
And opioids, for whatever chemical reason or whatever,
Cause constipation.
they cause serious constipation.
Yep.
But the time in the bathroom isn't necessarily correlated with actually going to the bathroom.
There's frequent trips to the bathroom and a prolonged amount of time spent in there when you're an opioid addict, any addict, as a matter of fact. It's a place to get away, a reason to have the door locked, and so that's why we usually choose bathrooms. And if you're an opioid addict, and specifically a heroin addict, and you're smoking it, well, it takes a while to smoke the heroin in the room. You don't want it to smell, so you stay in there, but you also nod out. You be using and then you nod out for 15 minutes.
I saw a meme recently, someone was joking, they're like, some disgusting person was taking a dump in the cocaine room.
Yeah.
Something like that. It was like,
Absolutely. Yep.
how gross.
Yep. Number 7, unwillingness to submit to a drug test.
One thing I've noticed as your brother, when you're trying to stay clean and when you're like willing, it is you want the accountability. You're eager for the drug test because you're vindicated. If you do the UA, urinary analysis, whatever, and you can prove that you're clean, mm-hmm. you're happy to do it. But I think it's a pretty obvious indicator if you're trying to dodge me when I'm like, hey, let's do a drug test. It's usually because I'm not going to like what I find.
Yeah. You got to be smart when you UA, and you can get synthetic urine from a smoke shop. Watching someone pee is the real, being there is
that's what we do now.
Guaranteed way.
We just pretty much just it's not like going to the bathroom and pee in this cup. First, I do a search to make sure that there's nothing on you. There was a time that we were doing a drug test, and I was patting down, and you had one taped to the inside of your thigh, mm-hmm. and I found that it was like a little Capri Sun packet, and I was just like, do we even need to do the drug test? And the thing that was dumb is I think we still did the drug test.
Really?
You lied all the way until the drug test came back.
Absolutely.
And then even after it comes back, it's like, oh, it's probably a bad drug test. And it was okay.
That shows the unwillingness to get clean right there.
Yeah. Number 8 is just general indifference and apathy, especially toward things that you'd normally be interested in. So for you were usually very active in going to the gym. You would have a job, and even things like sports, you care about and follow sports. Mm-hmm. And when you're using, that all pretty much just went by the wayside. Right?
Yeah, everything goes out the door. Your life literally will get to the point where it revolves around finding the drugs, using the drugs, finding a way to get more drugs, finding a way to get the money, more, and it takes over. And so everything else is completely pushed to the side.
So no fantasy football.
Nope.
No city league softball.
Nope.
You don't care about any of that stuff.
Number 9, tolerance change to pain medication.
So there's an experience that you had that I heard about from mom and dad that you hurt your ankle really bad, right? Mm-hmm. You needed surgery.
Yep. Dislocated my ankle.
Okay. Super, super painful. Then you had to go in and get surgery. What was it like for you? What kind of pain were you in? Yeah,
so at first they prescribed me Percocet 5s or 10s, which for a normal person, taking those will reduce the pain a decent amount, if you take them as prescribed. And so I went through the first prescription that was supposed to last 7 days. I went through, I think, in a day. And then I went to my uncle and said, hey, I need more powerful stuff. This is still hurting. So then he prescribed me the morphing 30s. Yeah, I went through those super quick too, and I think Mom had to call like 'cause I wanted more and try to get more, and he's like, whoa.
And number 10 is social isolation. One thing I noticed is like, so we have a lot of the same friends, and occasionally, like over the years, when they wanted to check up and be like, hey, so how's Ryan doing? I got tired of just being like, I don't know, like probably not good. The answer that kind of became my go-to was, I can generally tell how well Ryan is doing based on how frequently I see him. The more often I see him, the more I know he's doing well. And so I just be like, haven't seen Ryan in a long time. And that was the way it was just like, I know that he's struggling because he's not in touch. And it's not because I haven't tried to reach out, not because of, like my decision to distance myself from him or anything. It was just...
I totally would push myself away. And every time I would fall back into addiction, isolation's like, that's where you thrive, because the drugs are expensive and you don't want to share the drugs, so you're not with people anyways. You don't want to be with other drug addicts. You can't be around normal friends because they'll see that you're high and they don't want to be around that. You don't want to make a fool of yourself, or family. You just you isolate, long hours sitting in my car just wishing that I could be clean and wishing that I could be with family or friends, or just being a normal person. I remember so many times sitting in my car and watching cars drive by or people walk into stores and be like, wow, there's actually people that can live a normal life and like don't have to struggle with addiction. Like, it's crazy. Like, that guy's actually living a normal life, like has a job that he goes to and stuff. Like, man, I just wish I could have that. Like, just a job, I could just hold a job and work and, be a normal person.
So this is our top 10 list of ways to recognize addiction in someone you love. If you have any thoughts or any other symptoms or signs that you've seen, feel free to throw it in the comments. And please subscribe, because we're going to have a lot more content on how you can help people in addiction, what addiction has been like, and
just addiction awareness.
Yeah. How to get out of it.
Just opening people's eyes to what's going on.
So thanks for watching, and stick around hopefully for some more.